The darker corners of our world hide secrets beyond our imagination.
Oh, what the? Is that a guy?
From forbidden labs to chambers with prehistoric tales and terrifying remnants from the past,
Oh, this Naya is the oldest one, the most complete skeleton.
each step inside seems to lead straight to hell. Let's dig in for the most shocking cave discoveries ever found.
اطلع.
In the depths of a volcano, a hidden lab once operated in complete secrecy. Few knew of its existence, and even fewer knew the man behind it. Built in 1966, this underground laboratory was locked behind iron doors, concealed tunnels, and coded keypads. Inside, Daryl, a chemist, worked for years, producing massive amounts of MDMA, a substance that was once legal and used in psychotherapy. The lab had electricity, plumbing, and a hidden vent to release fumes, all designed to keep his work undetected. But secrets don't last forever. When MDMA was banned in 1985, he abandoned the lab, leaving behind a secret world that few ever knew existed. Cliffside mummies. On a steep cliff in northern Scotland, there's a mysterious cave that's hard to reach. Inside the cave, there are ancient human bones. Some still have flesh attached, even after 3,000 years. This wasn't just a burial site. Evidence suggests Bronze Age people brought their deceased here on purpose, returning again and again. Fires burned inside the cave, likely helping to dry and preserve the bodies, almost like mummification. But why go through all this effort? Experts believe this cave held a special meaning, a place where end didn't mean decay. A secret practice, lost to time, until now. Unknown human bone. Finding old bones in a cave isn't unusual for archaeologists, but finding a finger bone that doesn't match any known human species? That's really shocking. In a cave shaft, a team of archaeologists found a tiny bone fragment. At first, it seemed ordinary, until tests revealed it belonged to an entirely new human species, the Denisovans. Even more shocking, they had interbred with Neanderthals, meaning their DNA still exists in some people today. A forgotten branch of humanity, hidden underground for thousands of years. Giant handprint. Most cave discoveries involve bones or artifacts, but in 2013, researchers M.K. Davis and Don Monroe found something far stranger inside Lovelock Cave, Nevada, a massive handprint.
Oh no, I got it. I'm gonna give it right to you.
While exploring the cave, they spotted an imprint far larger than a normal human hand pressed into the stone. Lovelock Cave has long been linked to strange stories, especially legends of giant red-haired beings that once lived there. Some believe this print is proof of their existence, while others think it could be something even more mysterious. Whatever left that mark was no ordinary human, and the mystery of Lovelock Cave only gets deeper. Crystal Cave. In 2000, researchers went into a hidden cave in Chihuahua, Mexico, which was filled with giant crystals. Some crystals stretch over 12 meters, the largest ever seen. But this breathtaking sight comes with extreme danger. The cave is one of the hottest places ever explored, reaching over 50 degrees with nearly 100% humidity. The heat is so intense that people can only survive for minutes without protection. To find its secrets, the researchers used special cooling suits and oxygen masks. Even then, the conditions were brutal. What else could be inside this rare cave? Some places on Earth are too extreme for humans, but that has never stopped explorers from going in. Skull Cave. A boy made a shocking discovery in the mountains of Peru. Inside a cave, he found skeletons with long, stretched-out skulls. They looked so strange that some believed they could belong to aliens. But experts say these skulls were not from another world. Hundreds of years ago, some people practiced cranial deformation, tightly wrapping children's heads to make their skulls grow tall and narrow. Why did they do this? Maybe it was a symbol of status or beauty. The real mystery isn't just the shape of the skulls. It's why so many of them were found in the same cave, almost as if they were placed there on purpose. Tiny skeleton discovery. This might be one of the strangest human discoveries ever. In 2003, archaeologists in Flores, Indonesia, were digging inside the dark Liang Bua cave when they found a tiny human skeleton. At first, they thought it might be a child, but no, it was an adult, less than 4 feet tall. And here's the weirdest part. Tests showed that this wasn't a deformity. This was an entirely different species of human, now known as Homo floresiensis, or the Flores man. These little humans lived around 60,000 years ago, sharing the planet with modern humans. But what really makes this creepy? The locals have long told stories about small human-like creatures called Ebu Gogo, said to have once lived in the forests of Flores. If these small beings existed, maybe other lost branches of humanity are still hidden somewhere. Glowworm caves. New Zealand is known for its breathtaking landscapes, but deep beneath the surface, there is something even more mesmerizing: the glowworm caves. These underground caverns are home to thousands of bioluminescent glowworms. The most famous of these caves is the Waitomo Glowworm Cave, located on the North Island. Visitors enter the cave and wander through the darkness on a boat, while thousands of glowworms light up the ceiling like a night sky. Further south, the Te Anau Glowworm Cave offers a more rugged experience, with underground waterfalls and twisting passages leading to a silent grotto filled with glowing worms. It's a sight that looks magical, but is entirely real. Another bizarre wonder hidden in the depths of our world. Musical cave. On the remote island of Staffa, Scotland, there's a cave that doesn't just look eerie, it sounds eerie too. Fingal's Cave is a massive sea cave with towering basalt columns, but what makes it truly strange is the sound. When the wind and waves rush through its hollow chamber, they produce flute-like sounds that seem almost supernatural. For centuries, locals believed these sounds were the voices of spirits or ancient giants. The legend even inspired composer Felix Mendelssohn to create a haunting musical piece, the Hebrides Overture. But whether it's nature's perfect acoustics or something more mysterious, one thing is certain: this cave sings a song of its own. Neanderthal flower graves. Inside Shanidar Cave in Iraq, archaeologists made a discovery that raised puzzling questions. They found ancient Neanderthal graves, but something unusual caught their attention: traces of flower pollen buried alongside the bodies. This suggested that Neanderthals might have performed rituals, carefully placing flowers in graves just like modern humans. For years, this was seen as proof that Neanderthals had a sense of culture and mourning, but new research has cast doubt on this theory. Some scientists now believe burrowing rodents or insects might have accidentally placed the pollen there. Fading Pictish symbols. While the Picts left no written history, their symbols still speak from the walls of the Wemyss caves. Each carving is a brief look into a lost world, showing animals, warriors, and mysterious patterns whose meanings are still debated. But time and nature are closing in, with storms eroding the cliffs and modern visitors leaving their own marks. These ancient artworks face a slow disappearance. Preservation efforts are underway, but even those might not be enough. Maybe in a few decades, all that will remain are the digital scans and memories. If the Picts were sending a message across time,
We don't want these carvings to be lost on our watch.
we might be the last ones to read it. Bat-filled cave. A group of explorers entered a remote cave, expecting to see stunning rock formations and underground rivers. The deeper they went, the stranger it got. Instead of water, they heard a low, constant roar.
Yeah, right here. Whoa.
But there was no river ahead, just darkness. Then they realized it was bats. Within seconds, the bats were everywhere, flying straight toward them. Unlike normal bats that avoid people, these seemed almost aggressive. They zoomed past, brushing against their heads and shoulders. Fruit bats, nectar eaters, and ghost-faced bats filled the space. With so much swarming, spotting a vampire bat was impossible. This wasn't just a cave, it was a chaotic, living storm of bats. Moving forward meant walking straight into the swarm, so they stepped back. Giant cave spider. In 2001, researchers exploring the Pak U caves of Laos came across something terrifying: the giant huntsman spider. With a leg span reaching over 10 inches, it's as big as a dinner plate. This massive arachnid isn't just large, it's a predator built for speed. One female was seen staying completely still for hours, waiting for prey. She didn't just rely on sight. Her legs could detect the smallest vibrations in the cave floor. The moment a cricket got close enough, she struck. Within seconds, her powerful mandibles crushed the insect, and her venom did the rest. In the darkness of the cave, the giant huntsman remains unseen until it moves. Forbidden cenote. A team of researchers set out to explore a mysterious cenote in the ancient Maya city of Mayapan. Locals had long believed the sinkhole was cursed, warning their children to stay away. Unlike other cenotes, which were vital sources of water, this one had been deliberately avoided. Even the city's protective walls curved around it. To investigate, divers rappelled into the dark waters, squeezing through a tight passageway. What they found was chilling: a hidden cavern filled with human remains. Skulls, bones, and vertebrae had drifted to one end of the chamber, suggesting the cenote had been used for burials or sacrifices. Whether these remains belong to honored elites or victims of rituals, one thing is clear: this was no ordinary cenote. Oldest animal art. Archaeologists in a cave of Sulawesi, Indonesia found the oldest animal painting ever, a 45,500-year-old painting of a wild pig. This makes it the oldest known artwork of an animal ever found. The painting shows a Sulawesi warty pig, a wild species still living on the island today. Next to it, there are two handprints, possibly left by the ancient artist. Researchers believe early humans used red ochre mixed with water to create this stunning piece. Who knows how many more lost stories of the past are still waiting to be found. Ancient desert scrolls. Archaeologists have made some unbelievable discoveries in the deserts of Israel. First, there were the Dead Sea Scrolls, found between 1947 and 1956 in caves near Wadi Qumran. These nearly 900 ancient texts, written before AD 100, include parts of the Hebrew Bible and mysterious writings from a Jewish sect, possibly the Essenes. Some even think John the Baptist was connected to them. Years later, another set of scrolls showed up in the Judean desert's Cave of Horror. These were Greek biblical texts hidden by Jewish rebels escaping the Romans. Archaeologists had to abseil down cliffs just to reach them. Different time periods, different groups, but both discoveries give us a rare look into the past, showing just how much history was left buried in these caves. Lost child of the past. This child roamed the earth 250,000 years ago, and now, researchers in South Africa have found her story. They found a fossilized skull deep inside a cave 30 miles from Johannesburg. It belonged to a young Homo naledi, an early human relative. Scientists named her Letimela, meaning the lost one. Letimela was just 4 to 6 years old when she passed away during the Middle Pleistocene era. Her remains were found in the same area as other Homo naledi fossils, leading experts to believe that these ancient humans may have buried their deceased, something once thought to be unique to modern humans. Gate to Hell Cave. In ancient times, some places were believed to be actual entrances to the underworld. One of the most famous was Plutonian, also known as the Gate to Hell in Hierapolis, Turkey. This cave was feared because it released strong, invisible gases that made it unsafe for people and animals. Even ancient writers described how birds flying too close would suddenly fall to the ground. Archaeologists rediscovered the site in 2013, and the cave still emits high levels of carbon dioxide, just as the ancient Romans recorded. Back then, priests would lead animals inside as part of rituals, while carefully avoiding the dangerous spots themselves. Ancient skeleton. Back in 2007, divers exploring a deep underwater pit in Mexico's Sac Actun cave system stumbled upon something incredible: the skeleton of a teenage girl. They named her Naya, and after testing her bones, researchers found that she lived over 12,000 years ago, making her one of the oldest known skeletons in the Americas.
So this Naya is the oldest one, the most complete.
What's even more fascinating, her DNA links her to modern Native Americans. This helped confirm that the first people in the Americas came from Siberia, crossing an ancient land bridge thousands of years ago. Her discovery also explains why early skulls looked different from modern ones. People slowly changed over time. Sacred resting place. Doni Island in Papua New Guinea is not just a tropical getaway. It holds a deep cultural mystery. One of its most intriguing sites is the Skull Cave, hidden atop a hill and surrounded by dense rainforest. This cave serves as a final resting place for the island's honored ancestors, following an ancient burial tradition. According to local customs, important individuals were buried upright with a clay pot covering their heads. As time passed, their skulls were carefully placed inside the cave as a mark of respect. Hidden mummy chamber. While examining an ancient site, archaeologists came across a small opening in the ground. Curious, they carefully widened it, revealing a hidden chamber deep below. What they found inside was astonishing. A well-preserved mummy seated on a throne, possibly a long-forgotten king. Another figure was standing next to him, likely his vizier, as if still watching over him in the afterlife. Broken pieces of jewelry and delicate crockery were seen scattered on the ground, hinting at either a rushed departure or centuries of disturbance. Who were these figures, and why was their tomb hidden so well? This discovery could change what we know about ancient burial practices and lost dynasties. Cave spirit. A group of friends went into a cave, hoping to find treasure, but they had no idea what was really waiting for them. As they walked inside, they saw someone peeking from the cave wall. At first, they thought it was a worker, but then they noticed the long hair and creepy face. That's when they knew this was no normal person. They didn't wait to find out more. They ran out as fast as they could. Later, the locals told them an evil spirit haunted the cave. Many who enter never return. Those friends were lucky because not everyone gets a second chance. Maya ritual. At the ruins of Chichen Itza, archaeologists found a hidden cave that had been closed for over 1,000 years. Inside, they discovered nearly 200 old clay pots filled with bone pieces and burnt offerings. It was clear that this place was important to the Maya, an ancient civilization known for its great cities and temples. Experts believe the Maya came here to ask their gods for help, maybe during a terrible drought. Some think this cave could even reveal why their empire fell. One thing is sure, this was no ordinary cave. It was a secret place where the Maya left behind messages, hoping someone would find them. And now, after 1,000 years, their story is finally coming to light. Handprint cave. In Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula, archaeologists explored a cave and found something bizarre. 137 handprints covering the walls. But these weren't ordinary markings. They were part of a forgotten Mayan ritual from 1,200 years ago. Most prints belonged to children. Black symbolized ritual demise, marking the end of childhood. Red meant life or war, showing they were now ready to hunt and fight. This wasn't just a ceremony. It was a turning point where young boys left their innocence behind, forced to become warriors. Imagine how terrifying this must have been. The Mayans left their mark, but the fear of that moment still remains in this cave. Giant bones. Tourists visiting a cave museum in Thailand came across a shocking sight, a massive skeleton hidden within the chamber. The bones were far larger than any human remains, raising unsettling questions. Experts suggest they could belong to an ancient ancestor, but the size denies everything known. If such a being once walked the earth, its history was wiped away long ago. Whether buried by time or hidden on purpose, only these bones remain as evidence. The cave, once a quiet museum, now holds a mystery that challenges what was believed to be true. Animal hybrid. Archaeologists unearthed a strange figure buried in the sand, dating back to 4000 BC. Its face looked oddly familiar, almost like Homer from The Simpsons. But the real shock was its body. Instead of a human form, it had the body of a camel, complete with 4 legs. The discovery left the team baffled. Was this a forgotten creature from ancient times, or just an artistic symbol created by a lost civilization? Perhaps ancient people had a way of depicting beings beyond reality, mixing animals and humans in ways we still don't understand. Ancient remains. Archaeologists in Devon never expected to stumble upon this, an untouched cave hiding something incredible. Inside, they found a massive mammoth tusk, believed to be over 40,000 years old, alongside the bones of a woolly rhino and even a wolf skull. The discovery was made near Sherford, where a new town is being built. But beneath the ground lay a glimpse into an ancient world. The remains, including a mammoth's molar and even bat bones, were shockingly well preserved. These fossils are now being studied, but one thing is certain. This wasn't just any ordinary cave. Hanging coffins. High in the mountains of the northern Philippines, Sagada hides a burial practice unlike any other. Here, wooden coffins dangle from cliffs, suspended in time. This eerie tradition has been followed for nearly 500 years, with the belief that the deceased remain closer to the spirits and continue to watch over the living. The coffins, carved by elders themselves, hold bodies in a fetal position, a symbolic return to the womb. Families carry the deceased through steep trails, believing that any liquid dripping from the coffin brings good luck. A drone recently uncovered a hidden cave filled with ancient coffins, some dating back 100 to 800 years. Even from the heights of the cliffs, it seems the ancestors never truly left Sagada. Baby dragons. In Slovenia, hidden within the vast tunnels of Postojna Cave, lives a creature straight out of legend, the Olem. Known as baby dragons, these blind, pale-skinned amphibians grow up to 25 centimeters long and can live for a century. They thrive in total darkness, moving through the water like ghosts. Scientists at the cave's vivarium have been closely studying them. With a carnivorous appetite, olms swallow worms whole, sometimes so violently that pieces slip out of their gills. Surprisingly, they can regenerate lost limbs. In a rare event, an OLM recently laid eggs. If conditions are right, in 3 to 4 months, another baby dragon will be born, proving that in the depths of Postojna, myths still come to life. Cave serpent. A group of explorers entered a cave in Mexico. As they squeezed through the narrow space, they saw something strange. A snake was hanging from the ceiling, coiled around a bat. Within seconds, the bat stopped moving, and the snake swallowed it whole. This wasn't just any snake. It was a yellow-red rat snake, a hunter perfectly adapted to the dark. It senses bats in midair and snatches them with high speed. Seeing nature's raw power up close was both fascinating and bizarre. Some creatures thrive where no human dares to stay for long. Glowing eyes. A camper in the forest heard strange noises coming from a nearby cave. Curious, he went to check. Inside, he saw figures standing in the dark. It was hard to make out their faces, but then he noticed their eyes. They weren't normal. They glowed in the darkness, something human eyes shouldn't do. That was enough to know they weren't people. The video ended there, and no one knows what happened to him. Some say they were skinwalkers, while others believe they were demons. Whatever they weren't something to meet alone in the forest. Scary cave. If you want to see caves, then it's better to watch this first. A local entered a cave known for terrifying sightings, but he wasn't prepared for what he saw. Inside, a figure stood draped in black, without a face or any visible features. Realizing it was a jinn, the man quickly started reciting Quranic verses for protection. He knew he had to leave before it was too late. Some places belong to other entities, and it's best not to disturb them. Ritual figure. A paranormal activist entered an abandoned place and saw a man covered in black cloth, sitting in silence. He tried to communicate, but there was no response. That's when he noticed there was no human face. It was a jinn. The figure began moving strangely as if performing a ritual. Moments later, it turned toward him. He didn't wait. Somehow, he managed to escape. But when he looked back, the jinn was gone. He left the place. But what if the jinn didn't leave him? If that was the case, his fate would have been terrifying. Cave encounter. A hiker exploring a remote cave never expected to see anything unusual until he noticed something climbing on the cave walls. At first, he assumed it was a large lizard, but soon he realized the figure wasn't moving like an animal at all. It had a pale, human-like shape, crawling along the ceiling without any support. The hikers quickly left the area, but the footage they captured left people questioning. Was it a cryptid, a ghost, or something even stranger? Some believe it could be a cave spirit, a creature hidden deep underground. Whatever it was, it's definitely not something you'd want to run into in a dark cave. Cursed symbols. Creswell Crags hides a secret that went unnoticed for years. Hundreds of strange carvings covered the cave walls, dismissed as old graffiti. But these were no ordinary marks. They were witches' marks.
It could be witches, but it probably includes evil spirits, demons, that kind of thing.
Carved centuries ago to keep something trapped inside. Villagers feared the caves held dark forces, spirits, demons, or something worse. To stop them from escaping, they covered the walls in symbols, crosses, initials, and strange double V's linked to protection. The sheer number of carvings shows their fear was real. If people went in such a way to seal the darkness away, then whatever they feared must have been beyond terrifying. Buried statue. Miners uncovered a statue buried under layers of mud, but as they cleaned it, they were left speechless. It was an angel holding a stick with massive wings stretching behind it. The details were so lifelike that it almost seemed as if the angel had been petrified, frozen in time. Some believe this discovery is a warning, a sign of the end of this world. After all, the Bible speaks of angels who abandoned their place, waiting for judgment. If that's true, then what exactly did these miners unearth? Perhaps some things should have stayed buried. It's time for today's open discussion. A team of researchers set out to explore the Lucky Pardner mine, hidden deep in the mountains of San Diego's East County. As they made their way through the dark tunnels, they descended into a vertical shaft leading to the lower levels. Down there, in the depths of the abandoned mine, they stumbled upon something unexpected. A strange skull. It was small, yet its sharp fangs stood out, unlike any known animal they could recognize. Was this the remains of some undiscovered creature, or had time twisted its features into something unrecognizable? Either way, Finding such a bizarre skull in the depths of an old mine only adds to the mystery of what might have once roamed in those tunnels. Thank you very much for watching the video. Do like and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to not miss any of the upcoming amazing videos. Thank you once again.